Language usage and purpose. In this lesson, you will analyze how the author's use of language achieves specific purposes. Introduction. Every day you encounter numerous words, in books, on websites, and in advertisements. But have you ever considered why the authors chose those words, and why did they arrange the words in those ways? Authors use their words to convey ideas and messages, and to achieve a specific purpose. Understanding a text sometimes means looking past the words on a page to focus on the choice and arrangement of those words. The author's choice and use of words is called diction. In this lesson, we'll look at how authors' word choices help them achieve their purpose. Warm-up. Using the notebook tool, respond to these questions. What are some reasons that you write? Is it for social media, personal letters, text messages, school assignments, journaling? How does your writing differ based on these different reasons?
So what are some reasons you write? So I copy these and I modify the question into an answer. Then I answer the question and then I delete what I need to. So some reasons that I write are for social media posts, letters, or emails for work or to friends. And I will sometimes write poetry. How does your writing differ based on these different reasons? So I copy and paste. Then I modify it. So I delete how does your, and I modify it by adding my writing differ based on the different reasons. I delete the question mark and add by changing the language I use based on my audience. For example, I may swear when writing on social media or in a letter with my friends. Then, after making those edits, my finished answer becomes, my writing differs based on these different reasons by changing the language I use based on my audience. For example, I may swear when writing on social media or in a letter to my friends. So, I've answered both of these questions fully, and this is the process that I used.
Author's purpose. Authors write for many different reasons. Those reasons are called the author's purpose. An author's purpose typically falls into one of three broad categories. Together they spell the acronym PI. Persuade, inform, entertain. Using the acronym PI can help you remember the three main types of author's purpose. Next, you'll learn more about each of these types.
PI.
Common types of author's purpose. Click each letter in the acronym PI to learn more about author's purpose.
Authors sometimes try to convince readers to agree with their opinion or viewpoint on a topic. Examples include advertisements, books, and movie reviews, and some speeches. Here are some characteristics of text that aim to persuade. The author presents a clear claim or position supporting evidence backs up the author's claim or position. So some examples are editorials, book and movie reviews, and some speeches. Supporting evidence backs up the author's claim or position. Don't ask me why I can't highlight that in yellow. To inform. Authors sometimes seek to inform readers about a topic. Examples include news or magazine articles and books about science or history. Here are some characteristics of text that aim to inform. Authors assume that readers have little or no prior knowledge of the subject. The text contains detailed information about the topic, and all details are supported by relevant facts. To entertain. Some texts are written to entertain readers. Examples include short stories, memoirs, and joke books. Here are some characteristics of texts that entertain. The author appeals to the reader's emotions. The author may tell a story or part of a story. The text expresses the author's thoughts and feelings. So we have PIE, P-I-E.
All texts have underlying purpose. For example, a text might aim to inform readers about a new scientific discovery, convince them to vote, or engage them with an exciting story. The choice of words and the tone an author uses depends on the purpose of the text. For example, authors who write to entertain may use words that create a humorous and engaging tone. Authors who seek to persuade may use words that are forceful and to the point. Next, we'll look at specific types of texts and how authors use them to achieve their purpose. Purpose and types of texts. Click each thumbnail image to learn more about how the structure of each type of text helps authors achieve their purpose.
Informational text. In an informational text, the author's purpose is primarily to inform. The author uses clear language organized in a variety of structures such as chronological, that means by date, or compare and contrast, to effectively present the information. Descriptive text. The purpose of a descriptive text is to describe an object, experience, or event. One secondary purpose of this type of writing could be to entertain. To paint a vivid description, authors must choose words that appeal to a reader's senses. Narrative text. The purpose of a narrative text is to tell a true or fictional, I always remember fictional as fake because of the F, narratives usually tell about an experience in which the sequence of events plays an important role. An effective narrative requires well-chosen language to evoke specific emotions and senses in the reader. Persuasive text. The primary purpose of a persuasive text is to convince readers of the author's opinion. It is usually one-sided and doesn't consider alternative viewpoints in a serious way. Persuasive texts use a wide range of techniques to convince readers. Authors use language that appeals to the reader's emotions, logic, and sense of right and wrong. Argumentative text. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. No, it doesn't. Argumentative texts also support an opinion, but authors take a more balanced approach. The author examines an idea or issue, takes a position on the topic, and supports the position with evidence. An argumentative text considers multiple sides of an argument before reaching a conclusion. Writing a compelling argumentative essay requires ample research and investigation.
Often a text can have multiple purposes. For instance, an advertisement may seek to inform, entertain, and persuade. Careful readers try to not only find the main purpose of a text, but also identify its secondary purposes. Match each purpose to the correct scenario. Drag each tile to the correct box.
Jacqueline is writing an article for the school newspaper to let other students know about the recycling program that will start the next semester. If you're letting somebody know something, you are trying to inform them. Roman is writing a poem for the school literary magazine to share the funny misadventures he experienced over the summer. If you're telling something that's supposed to be funny, its purpose is probably to entertain. Elizabeth is writing a speech that she will deliver to her school to get students to elect her as student body president. She wants to persuade them to vote for her. Author's word choice.
Author's word choice. Words have power, whether it's by shaping how a reader interprets a news event or by expressing a certain feeling in a poem. An author's word choice has a great impact on readers. Remember, diction refers to an author's choice and use of words. Authors carefully select every word in a text to convey a specific meaning. When choosing a word, an author considers both its denotation and connotation. For example, an author could consider these two sentences. It was raining. It was pouring. The second sentence more dramatically and more specifically conveys that there was a heavy rainfall. Effective diction is shaped by words that are clear, concrete, and exact. Good authors rarely use words such as things or nice because they are not specific enough. Instead, they rely on words that have a specific effect in order to engage the reader. For example, instead of writing that a flag had a rip, an author might write that the flag was tattered. Or, instead of writing that a team wanted to win, an author might write that the team was hungry for a win.
Incidentally, I have a keychain that was made from the hook and ring, or the clip and ring, from a flag that was tattered as it flew on my ship during Operation Enduring Freedom and Iraqi Freedom before most of you were born.
The author's purpose, whether to persuade, to entertain, or to inform, impacts the diction the author uses. For example, if an author's purpose is to inform, the reader should expect straightforward diction. On the other hand, if the author's purpose is to entertain, the readers will likely encounter words used in playful and unexpected ways. These word choices help to achieve the author's purpose by having a specific effect on the reader. Diction can also show different levels of formality. For example, you may greet a stranger or teacher with the word hello, but you may greet your friend with the word hey. The two words express similar meanings, but they have a different connotation. The same principle applies to writing. The diction in a text message to a friend is much less formal than the diction you would use in an essay for school. Similarly, the word choice in a letter to a relative would be informal compared to a letter to a business owner or a government representative. Which sentence contains a more precise word choice and will have the greatest impact on the reader?
Finley walked down the hall, or Finley trudged down the hall. Yes, walked has a literal definition of what Finley is doing. However, trudged gives the connotation about exactly how he walked down the hall. Assuming Finley was male. I don't know why I did that.
Analyzing words and purpose. When analyzing diction, look for specific words or phrases that seem stronger than others. Also, look for patterns or similarities in the words the author chooses. For example, does the text contain words that create a specific feeling in the reader? Does the text contain several words that refer to a particular idea or concept? Does the text repeat words or phrases? These patterns help to create a particular kind of diction. Using patterns of words and phrases helps authors achieve their purpose. For example, say that an author's purpose is to entertain readers with a retelling of a special memory. The author might use words that give a feeling of joy. If the purpose is to inform readers about how to be more successful, the author might use several words that are connected to personal growth. If the purpose is to persuade readers to join a club, the author might repeat a phrase that emphasizes the mission of the club. When you're analyzing an author's diction and how it relates to purpose, be specific. Avoid writing a vague sentence such as this: "The author uses diction to achieve a purpose." Instead, include specific details about the author's diction and purpose. Look at these examples. The author uses nostalgic diction to achieve the purpose of retelling his favorite childhood adventures. The language of the text is precise and helps the author achieve the purpose of informing readers about new laws to be enforced next year. For more ideas, look at these sentence frames. Then refer to this list of words that you can use to describe the author's diction.
So, here are two types of sentences that you can use to analyze an author's diction and its relationship to author's purpose. The author uses blank diction to achieve the purpose. The language of the text is blank and helps the author to achieve that purpose. So, you might describe the author uses abstract diction, or the author uses clear diction to achieve the purpose of informing us, or the author uses bland diction to achieve the purpose of entertaining us. I don't know why you'd use bland to entertain. That doesn't make any sense. The language of the text is precise and helps the author achieve the purpose of informing. For example, so this is kind of the template we might use in order to talk about these items. We wouldn't say the author uses good words or good diction to achieve the purpose of telling me stuff. It's just not how we would answer that prompt. When you click on these links, you also get things like words that describe diction. This may be hard to see in a recording, but it's a wonderful list of words from abstract to exact to fanciful to patriotic to poetic to scholarly to sentimental to shocking to sincere and even vague or metaphorical. These words describe how the author is using their words.
Select the correct answer from the drop-down menu.
So it says select the correct answer from the drop-down menu. If the author's purpose is to blank, the author might repeat a phrase that emphasizes the benefits of a product she wants people to buy, So I look at my notes and I'm looking for slide 24 here. Author's purpose. So author's purposes may be to persuade, to inform, or to entertain. Well, in order to entertain somebody, they might repeat a phrase to get them to buy a product. To inform somebody, they might repeat a phrase to get them to buy a product, or to persuade. If the author's purpose is to persuade, the author might repeat a phrase that emphasizes the benefits of a product she wants people to buy. Persuade means to convince to do so. Correct.
Analyzing a text. Now you'll practice analyzing diction and how it relates to author's purpose. Read The Golden Touch by Nathaniel Hawthorne. As you read, annotate the text, focusing on the author's diction. Look for words and phrases that stand out and make an impact on you. Remember to also look for patterns and similarities in the words the author chooses. Using the notebook tool, jot down answers to these questions. What words and phrases stand out to you? Based on those words and phrases, how would you describe the author's diction? What is the author's purpose for writing? How effective is the author's diction in helping him achieve his purpose? Keep in mind that there isn't one right answer to these questions. If you can communicate your ideas and support your analysis with evidence from the text, your analysis will be successful.
That's kind of the key to just about everything in language arts and a lot of math and science. If you can support your ideas, your analysis, the way you understand it, with evidence, your analysis will be successful. So, it says use the notebook tool. Let's see here. I separated everything out so we'd have it kind of clear. What words and phrases stand out to you? So, I would read through, and based on those words and phrases, how would you describe the author's diction? What is the author's purpose? How effective is the author's diction in helping people achieve these purposes? So, I copied these and put them in here. Then, I would open up and read the excerpt or whatever it was. I would read through and then answer the questions.
The language of Hawthorne's The Golden Touch is emotionally charged and helps the author achieve his purpose to entertain readers with a cautionary tale of greed. Hawthorne chooses strongly positive words to describe Midas's love for gold. These words include fonder, loved, enjoying, and joyful. In contrast, Hawthorne uses strongly negative words to describe Midas's emotional state as he dreams of having wealth and then regrets making his wish. These words include discontented, weary, aghast, grievously, and despair. Hawthorne's emotional diction helps him achieve his purpose by engaging readers in an entertaining and emotion-filled story. The pattern of positive and negative diction also allows the author to contrast the king's love for gold with the negative effects of his greed. In this way, Hawthorne conveys a powerful message about the dangers of greed. Now watch the video on the next screen for instructions on how to write an analysis in response to a question. Follow the instructions as you complete the upcoming lesson activity.
Hey there! I hear that you've been asked to write an analytical essay for your English class. You're in luck. I have 5 simple steps for you to follow. Let's get started. Step 1, read the question. Read carefully so you know exactly what you're being asked to do. Let's look at this question. We can see that it focuses on diction and purpose. Next, read and annotate the text. Focus on the language and devices that apply to the question. For this question, Look for examples of diction that support the author's purpose. Now it's time to make a statement that directly answers the question. This idea is what you will develop and support in your essay. The next step is to support your statement with evidence from the text. Review your annotations. See which text you circled, underlined, or highlighted best supports your statement. And now the last step, write your commentary. Writing commentary means giving your interpretation, insight, personal reaction, or reflection about the text. It gives you the opportunity to explain how your evidence supports your statement. Return to your annotations and look at the notes you made. This is a good starting point for your commentary. Now it's your turn. Remember these 5 steps as you write your own analytical essay. Happy writing!
So, in my notes, and I know you're not as nerdy as I am, and you would probably never write these down, but things like steps really helps me. So I wrote down the 5 steps. Read the question. Very important. Read and annotate the text. We learned how to do that in one of the previous lessons. Answer the question. Then support your hamburger bun with lettuce, tomato, and a big beef patty. Support your statement with details and evidence. Then write commentary. What the details mean in relation to your statement. So here are 2 types of sentences you can use to analyze author's diction and its relationship to author's purpose. The author uses blank, see words to describe diction. See, these are all those words to describe the diction. They're in your resource folder over here. To achieve the purpose of, and then remember the definition of PI, that acronym, persuade, inform, entertain, persuade, inform, entertain. And then you might say a comment like, language of the text is, and then describe it. Is it straightforward? Is it precise? Is it humorous? And helps the author achieve the purpose of, and then restate this. This would be similar to your conclusion statement if you were writing something like that. So part A, what words and phrases stand out to you in Midas's zinc touch? Based on those words and phrases, how would you describe the author's diction? Write your response in 25 to 50 words. So you would open up the reading and you would watch it or read it. You would then return to the instructional video if you needed. My answer, copied from below. Some phrases that stand out to me are not true. None of that probably ever happened. We need to be more specific and nothing more than an accidental touch of zinc. Based on these phrases, I would describe the author's diction as straightforward. Again, I copied this from the sample answer. What is the author's purpose for writing the Midas's zinc touch? Write your response in 15 to 30 words. The author's purpose is to inform readers about the true origins of the myth of Midas and his golden touch. Again, doesn't have to be poetry, just down and simple. I copied that answer, that's not my words. Now it's time to analyze the author's diction and how it helps the author achieve his purpose. In 75 to 125 words, write your analysis of diction in Midas's Zinc Touch by completing these steps. Make a statement that identifies the author's choice of diction and how it relates to the author's purpose. Review these sentence frames to write your statement. Again, if you simply copy the frames and then fill in the blank appropriately, it will help you. Remember, this process is to help you learn how to do this stuff. We don't expect you to have all these answers. It's the process of writing. Support your statement with evidence from the text. Explain how the evidence supports your statement. This sure sounds like it might be a question at the end of an essay prompt at the end of a test. Make a statement that identifies it, like that. So, number 1. The language of Midas's Zinc Touch is straightforward and helps the author achieve his purpose to inform readers about the true origins of the myth of Midas and his golden touch. 2. The author chooses phrases such as not true, none of that probably ever happened, we need to be more specific, and nothing more than an accidental touch of zinc. 3. The use of straightforward diction helps him achieve his purpose. He shows how the myth has historical origins, but grew and was embellished over time. Part D. Next, you'll revise your analysis of Midas Zinc Touch. First, take some time to examine your writing for weaknesses. Use the writing rubric in the following table to identify the expectations for the analysis and determine whether your analysis requires any revisions. Fill in the column labeled Reflection with 1 or 2 sentences for each category. Why do this? We want to revise, and in order to revise, we need to reflect in order to know what needs to be changed. If you raised a dog that grew up to bite someone, and now you're raising another dog, you want to make sure that you review what went wrong in the first time and then reflect on it so that way you don't do it again. Now, you want to look at your organization, the content, the development, and the grammar and mechanics of your writing. What are the expectations? The expectations is that your writing will be organized, the writing is clear and logically organized, and transitions are used to connect ideas. Content. The content shows original thinking and supports ideas with textual evidence. Development. A main point is developed with quality supporting details and commentary. Grammar and mechanics. The writing is free of spelling, punctuation, and grammar errors, as well as fragments, run-ons, and comma splices. Grammarly is a wonderful Chrome extension that you can use to help you with spelling, punctuation, and grammar errors, as well as fragments, run-ons, and comma splices. These are all things that I'm guilty of, so I use my tools to help me. Now, if the word is spelled in the document, then you should spell it correctly in your writing. If you are not sure about punctuation, run it through Grammarly or ask somebody to help you. Grammar errors. These are simple things, but we type fast, or we don't pay attention, or we're lazy, any number of things. And we might use things like gooder instead of best. We might say things like they did good instead of well. We might forget and say ran instead of run, things like that. So reread it to make sure it sounds logical, it makes sense. If it doesn't sound right, then it's probably not grammatically correct. And then write a reflection on that. Reflect about what you've done. Okay, so your reflection might look something like this. Is it organized? My response is organized. I made a statement that answered the question, and then I supported my answer with textual evidence and commentary. There is room for improvement here under content. Okay, I need to include more of my thinking to support my answer. Or development. Same as above. By adding more of my thinking, my main point will be better developed. Grammar and mechanics. I do not see any grammar and mechanical errors in my answer. This reflection is specific to your writing. This isn't something that anybody else can fill out for you. Why do it? Part E, why in your response, based on your response in part D, revise and adjust. So why look at this reflection and adjust it? Why rewrite? We want to use the reflection comments to guide your revision. Think, if I turned this turd in now, I might fail or maybe get a D. If I revise it and polish it, then I'll have a shiny turd that is worth a B or even an A and might go on the refrigerator at home. Okay? Don't turn in stuff that stinks.
To analyze diction, look for specific words that seem strong. Summary. Author's purpose is the reason authors write. Recall the three main types of author's purpose: to persuade, to inform, to entertain. Diction refers to the author's choice and use of words. Authors choose words that help them achieve their purpose. To analyze diction, look for specific words that seem stronger than the others or form patterns.
Congratulations, you've completed the tutorial on language usage and purpose. Well done.